Hi, mighty companions. It's been a long time since I came on here to make a video for you, and I decided that I needed to go live today because there's something heavy on my heart. Maybe it's heavy on your heart, or maybe you're not even aware of it, but I have seen so much division in communities meant to support students of A Course in Miracles lately, and I wanted to address that because the Course is all about connection and joining and working together and cooperating, not about conflict, not about separation, and not about making other people wrong. And what I have noticed in many of the Facebook groups that I belong to, and even some of the YouTube channels that I follow, is that there has been a movement to make certain versions of A Course in Miracles the correct ones, and certain teachers of A Course in Miracles the correct ones, and to make others wrong. So you may be familiar with that famous quote from A Course in Miracles that says, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? You can't choose both. When you choose to be happy, you automatically end up being right. So it's kind of a paradox. But what I have seen is a lot of people insisting that they are right and that other people are wrong, which is completely anathema. It's completely antithetical to what A Course in Miracles teaches. So I wanted to address this specifically because all of the conflict and fighting seems to be over who follows Ken Wapnick and who doesn't follow Ken Wapnick. Now, in case you're not familiar with the history of A Course in Miracles, Ken Wapnick was a man who was asked by Helen Schucman, the channel of the Course, to help edit the Course. And a lot of that editing involved taking out stories that were personal to Helen, stories from her personal life, and also a lot of references to sex, because supposedly Helen was very uncomfortable with that material and she did not want it included and published. So what happened in the history of the Course going back 60 years is that the first version that was published, made public, was the version that Ken Wapnick edited and which was published by the Foundation for Inner Peace, the blue volume with the gold letters that says FIP, Foundation for Inner Peace, on it. And that is the version sorry, I had a car coming at me. That is the version that most of us who have been students of A Course in Miracles for many, many years were first introduced to. Now, it was 2009 when I attended a conference for A Course in Miracles at the Association for Research and Enlightenment, the ARE, the Edgar Cayce Foundation in Virginia Beach. I went to hear Ken Wapnick speak. That was the first time I became aware of in a sketchy signal area, so I moved a little bit. But I was saying in 2009 was the first time that I became aware of the fact that there were more than one version of A Course in Miracles. In addition to the Foundation for Inner Peace version, there was the sparkly cover edition. There was the CE version. There was the version with the pearls on the cover. So there are 3, 4, 5 different versions of the Course that came into existence at a certain time, and different people have experience with different ones. But one of the things that A Course in Miracles repeatedly tells us is that content is more important than form. The content is what matters, not the form. So when we become super focused on this form of the Course, this version of the book is the correct one, and other ones are not, we are putting our focus on the form and not the content, which is not what we should be doing. The message is the same. All versions of A Course in Miracles give us the same message. Be passers-by. Don't get caught up in the drama, and love yourself, love everyone else, love God. Love is what you are. That is the message. And this hair splitting over certain passages in the Course and saying that certain people have interpreted them incorrectly makes me think of my apologies, I won't choose this area to go live again. Clearly the signal here doesn't support it, but this hair splitting over certain verses in the course and saying that certain interpretations are right and wrong, it makes me think of fundamentalist Christians, fundamentalist Muslims, fundamentalist and extremist religious people who start wars over this kind of thing. It's just frankly unacceptable. It's not where we are meant to be spending our time and our energy. So my title for this video was, which teacher should you follow? And I'm going to give you a few tips, a few suggestions, and a little advice, not only for which course teacher you should follow, but what teacher you should follow for every aspect of your life, whether it's a mentor, whether it's no matter what subject you're learning. These are some clues to look for to see if you are following the easiest path for you, if you are doing the thing that is going to work for you the best. So first of all, obviously having a good knowledge and expertise in the area is important. But more importantly than that, a teacher should have your best interest at heart. That's why Jesus is such a great teacher of A Course in Miracles, because he wants us to be happy. He wants us to succeed. He wants us to overcome any obstacles in our path and to have the things that are being offered to us. So a teacher should be interested in knowing what your questions are and answering your questions. They should be curious. They should not be judgmental. If you are working with a teacher or a mentor who is extremely judgmental, making you wrong and telling you that you are wrong, that is not the best teacher for you. You are not going to learn well, and you are not going to grasp the deep and profound information that is included in this course when you are coming up against feeling judged in that way. So you want to look for a teacher who is knowledgeable and who is supportive. And not only that, but A Course in Miracles has a section called the Manual for Teachers that tells us what the characteristics of a teacher of God is. And your teacher should have those characteristics. They should be loving. They should be joyful. They should have the energy, this high vibe energy of being in alignment, being in flow, not resisting. It's all about being able to incorporate themselves, the things that are taught in A Course in Miracles, to be an example to you, because the Course also says that we learn by example. And Abraham Hicks also says, words don't teach. We learn by example. We learn by following the example of others. So if you are following someone on social media or on YouTube or on a Facebook group who is insisting that you have to do things a certain way, they do not have your best interest at heart. Another quality of a teacher of God is they are peaceful. So if your teacher is extremely emotional, extremely invested and passionate about things being a certain way, that is the opposite of peaceful, in my opinion. Your teacher should be peaceful and should demonstrate peace. They should demonstrate acceptance and harmony and love and joy. These are the qualities of a teacher of God. Now, for some people, Ken Wapnick may have exuded those qualities. I heard him speak once. I wasn't moved. I found him to be extremely knowledgeable of all of the material in the Course. But when someone in the audience asked him, how has the Course changed your life for the better? What has been the result for you of studying the Course? His response was, well, I probably would never have met my wife, Gloria, if it hadn't been for the Course. Which may be a profound answer. His marriage may have changed his life in immeasurable ways, probably did, because I think he was studying to to become a monk when he encountered the Course. I could be wrong about that. But I found that to be a non-miraculous sort of answer. It didn't feel to me like anything earth-shattering had happened to him. And so I wasn't moved by that response. And even though I've watched his videos on YouTube and I'm kind of familiar with his teaching, I never felt like he was my specific teacher. However, that being said, that does not mean he's not your teacher or someone else's teacher, because we each have to do what resonates the most with us. None of us are cookie cutter people. None of us cut from the same mold. We all have our own spiritual paths to follow in this life. We are all one of one, unique, and we each have lessons to learn here and things that work for us and things that don't work for us. So part of the journey, a big part of the journey, is figuring out what works for you and what feels right for you, and moving in that direction instead of trying to force yourself to do what other people are telling you to do or what you see other people doing. So bottom line, this whole dispute over Ken Wapnick taught the Course wrong or Ken Wapnick taught the Course right is irrelevant. In you finding the best teacher for you, you want to find a teacher who resonates with you, who moves you, who you feel can help you, and eventually, of course, we all want to get to the point where we are working with our own inner teacher, when we are working with Jesus one-on-one, and we don't need to listen to outside voices any longer. But everybody has to start somewhere. Not everybody can just step right into this like holy relationship with Jesus, especially if they've come from a very punitive or dogmatic religious background. That may just feel wonky. So everybody is on a different spiritual path. Everybody has a different journey to follow. We each have our own teachers in this life, and I encourage you to do what feels best for you. Don't get caught up in the drama and the conflict and the people who are insisting that they are right and that other people are wrong.